Howdy guys, today we're going to be showing you the progress that's been made on my buddy's 302 for his 86 Mustang, and also we are going to be looking at my new engine. So here's the update on the 302. We got all the cylinders honed, new cam bearings in, basically just a bare block. We're waiting for parts. Pistons and rods are going to be reused. Everything's just kind of sitting here right now. Lots of stuff is on order. We've got rings here, rod bearings, main bearings. So right now we're just waiting on a few other things, cam, timing set, looking for some aluminum heads, but hopefully we'll be putting it together in not too long. Now I wasn't planning on revealing this quite yet because I've got lots of other things to do, and also this engine's apart, but I just can't wait. I want to get it apart and start ordering parts for it so I know what I need. So here it is. Now I know it's not that exciting. No, it's not a 302. It's a 351 Windsor. I thought about it long and hard about what kind of engine I wanted to go with. I originally wanted to go with a big block, but I decided to go with another small block just because it's so easy. Parts are so cheap. I picked this up for 450 bucks. It has about 240,000 kilometers on it. I'm not sure what that is in miles. It ran, it spins over nice, and it's gonna be rebuilt anyways, so it should be good. Another reason why I chose the small block is because I really would like to build a turbo setup for this engine eventually. I don't know how soon that's going to happen, but it is in the plans eventually. So I guess we're going to see what happens there. Another reason why I chose this engine is because it come out of a 95 F150. So I've heard they have stronger rods, and also if anybody knows anything about these engines, you can see that that's a F4TE, so it's a 94 truck engine, and that means that this should be a roller cam engine. Got a bunch of the parts up on my truck here. Got the upper intake plenum here, just some exhaust stuff, pulleys, all the brackets and everything. So without any further ado, let's get this thing on the engine stand and get into it. Not sure if you guys can tell or if anybody watched my other videos, but put up some new lights since last time. So there's much more light in here. A lot better to see. Alrighty, let's pull the oil drain plug. See what comes out. She's a little dark. Looks like this dipstick's gonna come right out. You're gonna see how difficult these exhaust bolts are gonna be. As you can see, they're already half out, so coming out real nice. Maybe I should get them all out before I say anything. Oh, that one was not tight at all. And this is the last one. There we go, no broken bolts on this side at least. This front bolt right here is giving me a little static, so I'm gonna try and heat it up. This is the only thing I got, is just a little propane torch, so guess we'll see if that does anything. Well, I'm pretty amazed that that actually came out. You can see it's still smoking. A lot of smoke in the air. Sprayed it down with a lot of that stuff and probably sitting there for 10 minutes with the torch, so I'm glad it came out. Well, they're both off, but you might be asking where the gaskets are. These engines actually come from the factory, just machine flat, no gaskets. But naturally, we did break one out of how many there is on the engine, 16, but it's protruding a little bit, so we should be able to get it out. It must be my lucky day. This guy is gonna come out. Easier to do this with a wrench or something. I didn't drill it very straight, but look at that. Perfect. Now we got all the exhaust manifold bolts out. Not one broken one. Perfect. All the spark plugs look pretty good aside from this one because I dropped it, so. But otherwise they all look about the same. Pretty good. Next we're gonna take the valve covers off, but I gotta move this thing. There we go. Okay, let's get this passenger side valve cover off. Let's see what's in here. So it doesn't look too bad in here. I mean, the engine was running when we pulled it, so didn't expect to see any damage or anything, but looks fairly clean. It's stock. I think we're gonna see basically the same thing on this side. Yep, just stock, but not too bad. I may have broken my distributor when I hit this with a hammer, but it's okay. This one's not getting used. This is a fuel injected distributor that won't come out. There we go. Pull this thing out and have a bunch of dirt fall in there. Don't see much through there. Well, I guess next we're gonna pull off this intake and see if this is truly a roller block or if it's flat tappet. It should be roller. Got all the bolts out, but I guess I shouldn't have said it's my lucky day before I got this apart because this bolt broke. But I guess we'll see what it looks like. Well, this certainly is refreshing after what I was working on earlier today. I'll put in a picture right now. But it looks like this is a very clean engine on the inside. Very nice. There might be a little bit of dirt in here from when I popped the intake open, but dang, everything looks great. So obviously I'm not 100% sure, but I'm fairly certain this engine has never been opened before because this is the intake gaskets and they're Ford stamped. The date code on there and everything. Now, for those of you that don't know much about small block Fords, these bolts right here are a problem. There's two on each side. They go through the aluminum water pump, aluminum timing cover into the iron block, and they're steel bolts. And iron and aluminum don't like to be together. So it's a big problem. Oops, sorry. Watch this. All 4 of these bolts came right out. These bolts are such a big problem that before I even took this engine off my truck, as soon as I got it home, I went right to these bolts. And with a little bit of heating, they all will come out with some ease. Just like that, the water pump comes off, but not without some struggles. There is a broken bolt, which is weird. That seems like the least likely bolt to break. But you should be able to get it out. See if I can crack these head bolts loose without the engine moving too much. Oh boy. Now we should be able to just spin them out real easy. Now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of it. Alrighty, let's see what this is gonna look like. Well, here it is, the inside. The pistons all look fairly clean. Doesn't really matter, we're not reusing them. And it's a little dirty from the dust and stuff, but you can still see cross-hatching in the cylinders. Doesn't look too bad, but once again, it's getting bored over, so none of this really matters. So here's the other side of the head. It looks like we got E7TE heads, so not bad, not as good as the GT40, but they'll work. But they look very clean, actually, considering it has 250,000 kilometers, so looking pretty good. Looks about the same as the other side, other than all this stuff that got blown through the spark plug hole and I had them off. But this engine looks in really good shape so far. For 450 bucks, it's not bad. I'm kind of amazed right now because I do not have another impact here. So I thought just for fun I'd put my 3/8 12 volt Milwaukee on it. So I got 2 bars, and I'm not lying. That actually took that out. It took quite a bit of rattling, but with that extension, that's pretty impressive. See if we can get this crank pulley off. Timing cover's kind of fighting a little bit. There we go. Not sure what just fell into the oil pan. Yeah, looks like the factory chain. Pretty sloppy. Okay, we're gonna pull the pan off here and see what the bottom end looks like. Everything looks pretty good. So we got all the pistons out and all the bearings. They look pretty good. I mean, about what you'd expect for a engine with 250,000 kilometers. Honestly, maybe a little better. You can see the tops are showing just a little bit of copper. So they're getting there, but not bad. So we have a 302 apart right here, and we're taking apart this 351, and you can see they've got the same bore, but the 351's got quite a bit more stroke, a ½ inch, and the compression height on the piston is good, decent bit more. These are aftermarket pistons. They're 30 over for the 302, but still a little size comparison. So all the journals for the rods look pretty good. Like you can see it's been used, but there's absolutely no grooves in any of them. So we're gonna pull the main caps off right away here too. Then we can really look at the crank. So we took the crank out. All the mains on the top look very good. They almost look brand new. And the crank all looks pretty good except for one journal. This guy here must have had something go through it, because number one, it's got a few grooves, not terrible. Number two is looking a little bit rough. You can catch that with your fingernail, which is weird because number two looks like that. Number three looks about as good as number one. And then they all just look about the same, except for number two. This one, it has copper, but there's no groove. So, not really sure what happened. This one, it looks like it has a groove, but you can't really feel it with your fingernail, so. Everything's all good, so I'm thinking it'll probably just need to be polished, but I guess we'll see what the machine shop says. We're gonna pull out the spider here. See what our lifters are gonna look like. Little dog bones. Still rolls nice. Looks pretty good. Yeah, this should all look good. We'll pull them all out and see what they look like. I'm gonna pull this cam out. I mean, if I muck the bearings, it's not a big deal because I'm getting new ones anyways. This cam is not gonna get used again. There it is, that's the factory roller cam. Been a few days since the last video was shot. Getting ready for the winter. Got my toolbox in the little part of the garage because this is the only part that's insulated. But we got the block all cleaned up. I took it to the shop where I work. Got it all cleaned up. Looks pretty good. Still just got all the parts sitting laid out here. Still got the crank sitting over here. Haven't took it to the machine shop yet because I'm working on this truck right here. I finally found a transmission for it after searching forever. Got a new slave cylinder in there. And I'm gonna get a new clutch, throw it together. Finally get this thing out of the garage so then I can park my Mustang in here. But anyways, that's about it for this video. Not much going on with this engine anytime soon, sadly. Going to back to school in January, so I gotta save up some money to live in the city. So it's most likely gonna sit like this for a few months. I might order the odd part here and there. I might try and get the rotating assembly ready to go for when I'm done school, so I can put it together and then just bolt some heads on. But we got lots of work to do in the rotating assembly. We gotta gap all the rings. There's new pistons going in rods. Gonna get everything balanced. Obviously new bearings and everything. Gonna put new cam bearings in this, so there's lots of work ahead. Alrighty, so that's gonna wrap up this video. Not sure how many videos are gonna be coming out recently with the whole going to school and everything and winter on the way, but we'll have a video of putting this thing together, this 302 for my buddy, sometime this winter. And hopefully we can get a rotating assembly together for this thing before New Year's. So see you guys next time.